Okay, look, what we're doing here, I have the final drive in my engine stand. I have the Planetary shaft, or the star gear, the central one. This comes out of the diff and it drives the Planetary and the Planetary housing. I've got the ring gear sitting there, and what we have to do now, we've assembled the final drive, or the Planetary system, is we have to pop him down here and measure the end float. We have some shims, well, we'll have to cut some shims, but we'll get it up on here, we'll see if we can line it all up and drop it down, and we'll do some measurements. So, I'll try and bring this over. See if I can keep on my fingers. I know I've got some extras, but still. Because it's on the stand and I'm dropping it down, it's a little bit tight, so I'll see if I can get it straightened up a little bit. I can just feel it wanting to jam my finger. There we go. And we're putting no gaskets in, like there's cork gaskets that go through here, but we're not putting them in. But what we are doing, we'll bring that around about where it goes. Goes on the bottom there. That drain can go about there with it. And the idea is to put three bolts in, and with the 12 holes it means that you have one and 3 spare holes. And I'm not going to put spring washers on while we tighten it all up, but we're going to tighten it all up, put a dial gauge on the top here and see what end play we have. So I had to have a read of the book before I started this, and it says when we tighten these bolts down, now it says tighten these bolts to 45 foot-pounds, and look, I'm not going to do that just for this, we're just going to take them down tight so we know they're tight, and then lever up under the axle and see what we have. That's the way. When you hold these nuts up, they don't turn on the bottom. They sit in the housing there, so you may not be able to just see that bit. I've got to say you can see this working bit, but anyway, we'll work it out. So on the axle where you put the Planetary on, then you put like a large washer, and then you put the next piece on that's a thrust for the back of the bearing. That's where the shims go, and we've put it together with no shims in it at all, but we do have new bearings up here on the top, and we also have a new knuckle, or the inner bearing. So I'll try and tighten these down evenly. Yeah, that 45 foot-pound click, hear that? And what we're doing there is we're actually moving the bearing now on the shaft. So 45 foot-pound, you ready? Click. Click and click. That's about 63. So we'll get a hammer. That feels good. You can feel the seal dragging, I think. That feels pretty good, you know. Oh yeah, this is a man's bar. Don't be frightened. You never know. This one had no shims in it when I pulled it apart, but you never know. You know, with new bearings and that, it might have went back to spec because I can't feel any movement there. What I might do is I might roll it over on the stand and give the axle a bit of a hit. You can see that there. Get a bit of a brass punch going here. I'm just trying to make sure that these bearings are right home before I get too excited. Geez, I don't reckon there's any movement there. I reckon it feels lovely. Look, I've really got to put a bit onto that to get 1 or 2 thou. So I'm pretty happy. It feels good. Yeah, look, that's good. Okay, look, I'll come down here where I can see you. Look, I'm pretty happy with that. What I'll do now, I'll open him up again and I'll put the cork rubbers in here where they're supposed to go. And look, that's feeling really nice. So. And so on this one, without shims, I will check this later on again, but I can't get any movement out of there. Yeah, I think we're pretty well spot on with that new knuckle and the new bearings all the way through. I think it's brought it right up to standard. So, all right, I'll pop him apart and then we'll go through putting these corks in, eh? Okay, look, this sticky mess here. What I like to do is I put a bit of CRC glue. It's like a contact cement on the gasket here, and that holds it in place. And the stuff I use is CRC ADOS, ultra high strength adhesive spray. And I clean all the housings, I put that in and I just let that sit, and I do the exact same thing over on the Planetary housing. So that sticks there. So when I'm trying to put the housings on, I haven't got gaskets falling everywhere. Now on the other side here, I just like to put a little bit of grease. So if we ever have to pull this apart again, the gasket should stay where it is. When you put the grease on, you can see the gasket sticking down there just a little more, so that's good. I've seen these glued in with aviation cement and all that, whatever spins your wheels, you know. So we have the hole down the, yep, down the bottom. I should be able to just set that in place there. That should hold him down. So that'll stop that one from moving. Now I've got the other one the same. So there's a little drain here somewhere. I have to try and line up. There we go, that one has to go down the bottom. Somehow this is always easier. Oh, it's playing hard to get today. There we go. So that there should stay there. I'd like to move this bottom hole around just a little bit. Drain there, that should go there. So we've got a filler, we've got the level, and we've got the drain. Okay, so that's good. So now we go back and do what we did last time. But we might put the spring washers on this time. Do I have another bolt there somewhere? What have I done with that? I'm going to have to go and have a look at the book and see which way the bolts go, whether they come up or down. Alright, according to the parts book, the nuts are on the axle side. So they come in this way, they get a spring washer on them, and then they get the nut put on. Alright, I'll bolt all this up. I've still got to clean up the other bolts yet. But look, as for the axle, I think that'll do. We'll spin him upside down next, and the next video I'll be putting the brakes on the other end, ready to pop it on the diff housing of the tractor.